Most people spend their entire lives chasing something that doesn't even exist. We wake up, we trade our most precious asset, time, for pieces of paper, and we call it success. But have you ever stopped to wonder why, no matter how hard you work, the prices of everything keep rising faster than your salary? Why is it that our grandparents could buy a house on a single income, but today, a double-income household can barely afford rent? The truth is, you are living inside a financial system that was designed to keep you running on a treadmill. It's a system built on debt, powered by inflation, and hidden behind the walls of elite banking. In this 20-minute deep dive, we aren't just looking at numbers, we are decoding the matrix. We are going to reveal the hidden strings pulled by the Federal Reserve, the secret history of 1971, and the reason why saving money is actually making you poor. If you've ever felt like the game is rigged, it's because it is. Welcome to The Truth About Money. To understand the trap, we have to travel back to August 15th, 1971. Before this date, every US dollar was backed by physical gold. If you had money, it represented something real. But in a single televised announcement, President Richard Nixon changed the world forever. He, temporarily, suspended the dollar's link to gold. That temporary move became permanent. Suddenly, the government could print as much money as they wanted out of thin air. This was the birth of fiat currency. The word fiat is Latin for "let it be done." In other words, money has value only because the government says it does. But here's the catch. When the supply of money becomes infinite, the value of the money in your pocket becomes smaller. This is the hidden tax called inflation. Since 1971, the purchasing power of the dollar has collapsed by over 90%. You aren't getting poorer because you aren't working hard. You are getting poorer because the money you earn is being diluted like a glass of water with too much ice. But why would the system want the money to lose value? The answer is simple: to force you into debt. You see, when money loses value, you can no longer save your way to freedom. To buy a house, a car, or even an education, you are forced to go to a bank. This is where the trap tightens. When a bank lends you money, they aren't giving you money they already have. They are literally creating it out of thin air at the stroke of a keyboard. This is called fractional reserve banking. They lend you imaginary money, but they demand you pay them back with real time and effort, plus interest. Every interest payment you make is a transfer of wealth from your pocket to the elite. You spend 30 years of your life paying for a house that the bank essentially bought with a click. You aren't just paying for a home, you are paying for the privilege of being a debt slave. The system doesn't want you to be financially free. It wants you to be just wealthy enough to keep working, but too broke to ever stop. Most people think a thief is someone who breaks into your house at night. But the most dangerous thief is the one that stays in your bank account, invisible and silent. It's called inflation. Every time the government prints more money to pay off its own debts, the value of the dollars you already own goes down. Think of it like this. If there are only 10 apples in the world and you have one, you own 10% of the wealth. But if the government magically creates 90 more apples, your one apple is now worth only 1%. You didn't lose any apples, but you lost your power. This is why a grocery bill that was $50 a few years ago is now $150 for the exact same items. The system tells you to save money, but in reality, savers are losers. By the time you save enough for a down payment on a house, the price of that house has already doubled. You are running a race where the finish line keeps moving further away. They aren't just taking your money, they are stealing the hours of your life you spent earning it. Have you ever wondered why school never taught you how to pay taxes, how to invest, or how to build a business? Instead, they taught you how to memorize facts, follow orders, and sit in a chair for 8 hours a day. The modern school system wasn't designed by educators. It was designed by the industrial titans of the 19th century. They didn't want thinkers, they wanted workers. They needed people who would show up on time, follow instructions without questioning authority, and be satisfied with a steady paycheck. This is why you were rewarded for being compliant and punished for making mistakes. But in the real world of 2026, mistakes are how you learn, and compliance is the path to mediocrity. By the time you graduate, you are perfectly trained to enter the debt cycle we discussed earlier. You've been programmed to believe that a job is the only way to survive, while the people who designed the curriculum are the ones owning the corporations you work for. You weren't being educated, you were being processed. Once the system has you working and earning, it deploys its most effective weapon, the luxury trap. They spend billions on advertising to convince you that your self-worth is tied to the brand of your phone, the logo on your shirt, and the car in your driveway. They want you to spend the money you haven't even earned yet, to buy things you don't even need, to impress people you don't even like. This is why financing and buy now, pay later schemes have exploded in 2026. They make it easy for you to feel rich today while ensuring you remain poor tomorrow. The middle class buys liabilities that they think are assets. A new car loses 20% of its value the moment you drive it off the lot. A designer bag doesn't pay you dividends. While the 1% is busy buying land, businesses, and gold, the rest of the world is busy buying status symbols. You are working 40 hours a week to fund a lifestyle that belongs to someone else. You aren't owning your things are owning you. If the system is designed to fail us, then who is it designed to serve? To find the answer, we have to look at the top of the pyramid. Most people believe that their governments control the money, but the truth is, the governments are just as much in debt as you are. The real power lies with the central banks, private institutions that have the legal right to create money out of thin air and then lend it to the government at interest. Think about that. The government borrows money from a private entity and then taxes you to pay back that debt. This is the ultimate loop. In 2026, the gap between the ultra-wealthy and the rest of the world has reached a breaking point. The 1% doesn't play by the same rules. While you are taught to diversify your 401k or put money in a savings account, the elite are moving their wealth into hard assets, land, water rights, and emerging technologies. They know the dollar is a sinking ship, and they are the only ones with lifeboats. They aren't just rich, they own the game, the board, and the players. We are currently witnessing the final stages of the greatest transition in human history. Physical cash, the last symbol of financial privacy, is being phased out. In its place, the world is moving toward CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. The system says it's for convenience and security, but there is a darker side. Unlike the cash in your wallet, digital currency is programmable. This means the central bank could decide when, where, and how you are allowed to spend your own money. Imagine a world where your funds expire if you don't spend them fast enough, or where your account is frozen because you didn't follow a new government regulation. In 2026, the social credit score is no longer a conspiracy theory. It's becoming a reality tied to your wallet. The goal isn't just to track your money, it's to control your behavior. This is the ultimate upgrade to the Matrix, a system where your financial survival depends on your total compliance. The era of anonymous money is dying, and the era of absolute surveillance is here. Now that you see the walls of the cage, the question is, how do you get out? The first step to escaping the financial matrix is to stop playing by their rules. You must stop being a consumer and start becoming an owner. While the system wants you to save dying paper currency, the wealthy are moving into decentralized and hard assets. They buy things that the government cannot print more of: gold, silver, land, and the digital gold of our era, Bitcoin. These are assets that exist outside the traditional banking loop, but the most important asset you can own is your own skill set. In 2026, the ability to create value independent of a 9-to-5 job is the ultimate freedom. You need to decouple your income from your time. Start businesses, invest in AI-driven automation, and build a brand that lives on the internet. Knowledge is the only weapon that inflation cannot touch. The system thrives on your ignorance. Once you understand how money works, you are no longer a victim. You are a player. The exit door is wide open, but you have to be brave enough to walk through it and leave the comfort of the herd behind. You have a choice to make. You can close this video, go back to your routine, and pretend that the system is working for you. You can keep trading your life for a currency that is designed to melt away. Or you can choose to wake up. The information you've learned today is a seed. What you do with it will determine where you stand in the next 5 years. Will you be a victim of the 2026 reset, or will you be among the few who saw it coming and prepared? Remember, the greatest trick the system ever played was making you believe that wealth is for someone else. Wealth is a mindset first and a bank balance second. If you want to continue decoding the lies of the financial world and learn how to build real, lasting freedom, then join us. This is only the beginning of the journey. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, and take control of your future. Because in a world of noise, only the informed will survive. Thank you for watching Money Decoded. We'll see you in the next one.